Hi, yes, I'm Keith Jones. I work with the ThinManager Group. I am responsible for supporting our partners like Solutions PT and all of our European partners. So really happy to be here at this Xchange event this year. Yeah, Xchange is always important for us. In fact, any of our customer events, any of Solutions PT's customer events we've attended, probably for the last 15 to 20 years we've been working at these events. It's vital, I believe, to get ThinManager in front of people. Seeing is believing with ThinManager, and events like this are crucial for spreading the word and getting getting in front of people who can really benefit from ThinManager. We will always support solutions events, but Xchange is the icing on the cake of all the events. Oh yeah, there's also always emerging trends, isn't there, in SCADA and HMI. We see a big movement towards the edge these days, where people want computing at the level 3 space. Cloud, of course, moving content to the cloud, not centric content, but management from the cloud. Talking about management, OT management. Instead of IT managing the infrastructure, when it's important to be for production, we want the OT managers to be able to do that. We want to reduce dependency on operating system management. That adds no value to our manufacturing space. Security is always emerging and is always new threats, new attacks. We're always managing security. And then we see more of a movement towards authentication management in the security space, biometrics, facial recognition, fingerprint recognition. All of those are trends that we're addressing in ThinManager today. Some of those issues, management and cloud to an extent. The new ThinManager Web UI that we released in version 14 earlier this year, that is starting to address the ease of management from anywhere. So right now it's read-only. As we bring out the next releases of ThinManager, that is going to be a fully interactive way to manage and configure a ThinManager system. And with that Web UI interface, that moves us closer to a cloud capability, both management in the cloud, but also deployment from the cloud. Now, deployment from the cloud can have issues. So we've got a technology we'll be releasing called Boot Assist. Boot Assist is really interesting. This gives us the capability of the Thin client itself to have enough information to get its start on life, just in case a ThinManager server that happens to be situated in the cloud is not responding. So all of those technologies you'll expect to see in the next 1 to 2 years from ThinManager. Alright, well, so let's look what competing products do. There aren't real competition to ThinManager. ThinManager is designed from the ground up for automation. But we look at VDI, virtual desktop integration. That tends to be developed primarily for very large enterprise organizations. And the other competition which we may see is people doing nothing, just having a remote desktop client to access a server-based application. ThinManager, as I said, is designed for automation. It does things that those products don't even think of doing. It's also designed to be managed by OT rather than IT. It's not a burden to manage, it's very straightforward. It adds up more value as well by integrating security, bringing things more available. When something goes down, your productivity goes down, your OEE goes down. ThinManager is designed to minimize that. It's the only product that can determine where somebody is geographically and deliver content to them based upon who they are and a physical location. And we also introduce in the latest ThinManager the capability to interact with events. So an alarm happens somewhere, ThinManager can make a decision based upon what that alarm is. An example, you've got a secure area, somebody breaks a perimeter face, put a video on the screen in the control room of that event. But just look at ThinManager's history. We're 25 years this year. It's our quarter century anniversary. We have been established and have a second to none partner channel. Partners like Solutions PT have been supporting and delivering ThinManager solutions for well over two decades. Having a local trusted partner like this, not only for sales but for first line support, has really grown our business in the UK and Ireland very significantly. And I'm really grateful to Solutions PT for that. All right. How is the ThinManager roadmap decided? Well, easy. We ask our customers what they're looking for. We keep up to date with automation trends, and a lot of our strategic customers have needs that make sense for us to incorporate into the product for everybody. For example, ability to configure and install ThinManager for large organizations, widespread organizations using scripting, Ansible workbooks, for example. ThinManager events is another instance of something that was asked for and brought into the ThinManager product. The ability to respond to an alarm or an event in your infrastructure, ThinManager does something to support that. Web UI, that came out for a requirement for management. I'd like to manage my ThinManager system from home or from the cloud. That's come in there. And also a frequently requested capability, which is not in ThinManager yet, but is in our roadmap, is video recording the screen in real time and being able to scroll back in time to find out who did what when something occurred. Emerging technologies, we've already started to consider and integrate several things into ThinManager. Cloud deployment, that's going to be a big thing, I believe. The ability to move the ThinManager server into the cloud to load and manage devices wherever your infrastructure is based. That's going to be coming. Boot Assist is our name for the technology which will be enabling the Thin clients to work better with cloud-based servers, because you can't 100% rely on that server being able to be contacted. We'll be able to cache the ThinManager configuration and other elements, for example containers, inside the Thin client, so when it powers on, in case the cloud server is not there, it will be able to get a life. We're also considering building a containerized ThinManager server for edge computing, so delivering ThinManager server as itself as something that can run on a Thin client is something that is going to come. And then the biggest development this year has been the interest and development of the ThinManager-ready tablets. ThinManager supported tablet devices for a long time, but those devices have had an operating system like Windows, like iOS, like Android. We're now starting to work with manufacturers to deliver a device with no operating system whatsoever. When the device powers on, it seeks out and finds a ThinManager server in exactly the way a Thin client that's wired today does. And that is becoming a very exciting growth for us. That technology is available today, but it's only recently that those enabled devices have come to market.